Welcome to the ASA podcast, where we focus on subcontractors, the construction industry, and the issues and people making an impact. The ASA podcast is brought to you by the American Subcontractors Association and the Foundation of the American Subcontractors Association. This is part one of our feature on ASA member benefits. Welcome back to the ASA podcast. I'm your host, Mike Klein, and today I'm here with Matt Levine, who's the Vice President of ASA. Matt is here to talk about member benefits and what subcontractors can expect from joining ASA. So welcome, Matt. Why don't you introduce yourself to the folks who don't know who you are?
Yeah, thanks, Mike. Really appreciate it. I'm Matt Levine. I'm the Vice President of the American Subcontractors Association, the national office. And like Mike said, we're going to talk a little bit about member benefits. Obviously, ASA members are joining locally. But it's important that everyone knows everything that's available to them. It's important to us that there aren't two sets of benefits. There aren't local benefits and national benefits. It's one big family, ASA, and it's one set of benefits, the value you get from joining ASA. We just want to make sure, whether you're a new member or you've been a member for 25 years, we want to make sure that you know what's available to you.
Well, cool. Actually, I'm glad you mentioned locally because, as you said, members join locally. And so from a national standpoint, from a benefit standpoint, what are the benefits, the primary benefits that members can enjoy?
Yeah, and there are a bunch. Obviously, the biggest one involves advocacy. We have an unparalleled advocacy team. But everybody knows that. That's the most communicated thing. And there's advocacy going on locally also. But beyond that, that's really what we're here to talk about. It's what Mike's referring to. So there's a resource library, and we'll dive into all these things individually, but there's a resource library, and it's pretty spectacular. We have a discounted purchasing program called ASA Advantage. There are monthly webinars. So there's education available to you, and those webinars can be about subcontractor related issue, contracts, getting paid in a timely manner. They could be about leadership. They could be about social media. I know we're doing some soon on managing a LinkedIn account and how to use that to your advantage. So there's really good education. And then with education, we do have a national convention. That's a benefit. We have a national convention once a year called SubExcel, and great education, both for subs and suppliers, and great leadership education, but it's also unparalleled networking opportunity. So take that networking you're doing locally, that's why a lot of folks are joining, and just supercharge that by meeting with folks who are in your trade or in other trades from around the country, and it's really great networking. So SubExcel is a really important thing that we can get to when we're talking today, Mike. And then another benefit really is our staff. We're here to support you. So if you have questions, if you have needs, if you have ideas, like we're here to serve our members. So and we hope we can fill that role. So those are the things I'd like to dive into. And
well, let's dive right in. You mentioned the resource library. Where is it? What is it? How do members find it? How do they access it? What's in it, most importantly?
I'll try to keep this as easy as possible. I know it's hard off of one of these conversations to go navigate a website. But basically, the resource library is a vast library of documents, and I'll get into that. But it resides where you find it is in the Info Hub. The Info Hub is just a fancy way of saying the members only area of our website. So if you go to asaonline.com, that is the ASA national website. You can click on member login, and if you are set up, you'll get right in. You'll see the resource library. If you don't have an account, when you click on member login, it'll say if you don't have an account, click here to create one. Please do so. You need to be registered with us, ASA National, to have access. It's basically all database driven. So each member, which is a company, so each ASA member company can have as many employees. So if you can be one person, it can be every employee at your company. You can have them get access to the info hub. We just need everybody's name and email address. Make sure you get in touch with us after you hear this. We can get everybody registered, and that way all of the employees at a member company have access to everything we discuss. But that's where the resource library is. It's in the info hub. I can tell you, just as a pro tip, the username is always going to be first name dot last name, and you get to choose your password. But when it asks you for a username, it's not your email address. It's first name dot last name. But I just want to dive in while we're talking about the resource library. That's how you get there. You register for the info hub, you go in, and you'll see where it says resources along the left-hand side of the screen. Click on it, and it's intimidating. There are thousands of documents. The way you navigate that is, if you know what you're looking for, start typing it in the search box. The searchability is really good. It's user-friendly. Let's say you're looking for negotiating tips. It's one of the most used documents in the library. Start typing negotiating tips in the box, hit enter, off you go. It'll come up on the screen, and that document, which is updated, all these documents are updated every couple of years. You can open it and read it. You can download it. It is a very useful resource for our members as you're negotiating contracts. If you don't know what you're looking for and you're just navigating the site, there is a drop-down menu that has different buckets. So there is a drop-down, I think it's called contracts or contract tips. You can go in there and see it. There's another one called the subcontract document suite. That's the most used document. So there's contract language in the subcontract document suite. Again, hugely beneficial for subs. You pay lawyers all this money, but you have this contract language at your fingertips, and you can use it in the contracts you're signing. Our goal is to empower our members to sign good contracts that will be help you thrive, help you be more profitable, and as opposed to not having these things and putting yourself at risk by signing bad contracts. So these things are all in there. You can look for retainage laws in the 50 states, lien laws in the 50 states. There's OSHA documents and information. There's OSHA regs in there. We have a wonderful attorneys council made up of attorneys from around the country who are involved in construction. They help us with this resource library. They're creating these documents. And sorry to run on here, Mike, but another one is over the last handful of years, during COVID and coming out of COVID, price escalations was and is a huge issue in the industry. Well, we brought this to the Attorneys Council. There is a document with price escalation language and force majeure language in this resource library. That's the type of stuff that maybe it's not the reason you became an ASA member, but it really might be a lifesaver. We want our members to know that these things exist. They can be really helpful. They really can be business-saving documents. So that's what it's all about. Again, there are thousands of documents in there. Please just take time to navigate it. And if you ever have questions, you can reach out to us. We can help you with access. We can help you if you can't find something you're looking for. Just ask. The worst we can say is, no, it doesn't exist, but we'll get working on it, or we'll point you in the right direction. So it's pretty fantastic, and it's underutilized. I would say maybe a third of our members are using this resource library, and everyone should I just want to make sure everybody knows about it.
So basically, if you're a company, if you're a member of ASA, you can have any staff person that you want have an account on ASA online, and they would have access to this resource library. So if you have people who are writing contracts, they can get the contract language. If you have legal teams, they could get in there and they could find its content. So it sounds pretty impressive.
Everybody, yeah, it really is. Everybody, all we need to do is make sure that we have everyone that an ASA member wants registered. We just need to get every name and email address in our system, and they will have access to it. It's unlimited. It's unlimited number of users from the member. You can use it as often as you want. It really is. I can tell you there are other associations that have asked us for access to this. They've offered money for some of these
Huh,
documents, but it really is exclusive to ASA members, and
yeah.
that means something to us.
Well, let's talk about access then a little bit. On a computer, obviously through the website, you can get to it. Um, I know that ASA also has an app. Is that accessible through the app?
Yes, thank you. The great question. The ASA member app through Growth Zone. There is a Growth Zone app. If you download that app and set up your account, you can get to these documents. You can get to membership directories. You can do all sorts of interesting. I think you can get this podcast on the app. Um,
Good.
so I highly recommend it, depending upon how you like to interact with information. Personally, I'm getting old. I don't see great, so I can't read contract documents on my phone. I'm doing it for my computer, but a lot of folks are constantly on the move. So
Right.
you have a tablet, you have a phone. You can get this stuff from your mobile device, through the internet, through the app. We're trying to meet you where you are.
That's awesome. I go, the other question I have related to access is when you set up your account, I'm assuming your login is going to be unique to ASA National. It's not going to have anything to do with, say, like a local chapter account.
Great question. Yes. So local ASA chapters have their own website, and we have a separate website as well. We obviously play well in the sandbox and we connect to each other. But whatever access, whatever logins you have for the chapter are going to be unique from the login you need for this website. And that's just the nature of, unfortunately, how technology works. We don't have one entry. We don't have a universal way of doing this. But I would say come to the national website, which again is asaonline.com. Make sure you have an account and make sure you can access the info hub, because as you're going to find out in a minute, it's not just about the resource library. There's more available there, and we just want to make sure you have access to everything that's available to you.
This is the end of part one of our feature on ASA member benefits.